Okay, so back on the topic of Deadpool and Wolverine, but with a few theories this time. I have a few since the film left a lot of loose ends and unanswered questions. So, warning, these are mindless predictions that I wouldn't take serious unless they come true. Number 1. There are now 2 Wolverines and 2 X23s in the Deadpool universe. Now, if you remember correctly, the events of the movie happened because Logan was the anchor point for that universe. Which, don't get me started on, because that means all universes are slated to die because one character bit the dust. It's whatever. But Logan takes place in the year 2029, and Deadpool and Wolverine takes place in 2024. So it means none of the Logan events have happened yet. Charles didn't kill a bunch of mutants, and Wolverine hasn't started dying yet. So that means he's still around. It means X23 is still a toddler learning how to kill, and would explain why X-Men like Colossus and Negasonic are still alive. But we see at the end of the movie that the worst Wolverine sticks around, and so does X23. So do they stay there? Get swept into Secret Wars? Will they meet their variants? So many things could happen with this. Or Marvel takes the easy way out and simply says, they stayed for a bit and then they went back to their timelines. That would be boring. 2. Gambit is alive. Now, the age-old rule in comics or film, unless you see them die or see a body, then they aren't dead. Most of us comic nerds, blurs, and turds know the troubled history of the Gambit movie, which is what made Remy's joke so funny. But we're left to assume that they all died in the void. But we see X23 at the end, so clearly this means any of them, if not all of them, could have survived. Well, I noticed something in the end credits while Wade was exposing Johnny for his rude remarks about Cassandra. Now, I thought I was tripping and was doing a huge reach, but I saw other people were saying the same thing. That the monitors in the background when Deadpool is running through the tape, one of them had a person who looked like Gambit walking in front of the camera. Now, yes, it's super small and blurry, and yes, it's the TVA, so it could be from any given point in time, but it would be too much of a tease to add that there for nothing. Plus, he still has to...
I'm about to make a name for myself, yeah.
3. Fan service will be cranked to 100. Now, this movie was a love letter to the Fox universe, and clearly people love seeing characters from forgotten franchises, and Marvel sees that people will pay for a sweet, sweet hit of nostalgia. We saw this in No Way Home. Bringing people back fills seats, despite how you write it or what you have them do. Now, I feel this will be cranked to the max in Secret Wars, so multiple versions of Marvel characters that were lost to time. I feel they will make a cameo. And I mean, at this point, the MCU stands for the Marvel Cameo Universe. So I see people like Nicolas Cage coming back as Ghost Rider, Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk, etc., etc. You can think of it like close to the end of the flop that is the Flash movie. We got to see a glimpse of multiple characters that almost came to be or did exist and just never came back. I feel Secret Wars will give us that, but on steroids, before they set everything straight and hopefully not lean into this variant mess for a long time after. So think of the Spider-Man meme, but with many other different characters. 4. If Marvel does keep all of the variants, Marvel will do a Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Now, this wouldn't be a stretch to do it. And it wouldn't be the main timeline version, so you wouldn't need a high caliber excuse for him to do it. This movie was already like a super soft version of that. And he had a high kill count, even though most of them were TVA agents, but deaths are deaths. It would be a great excuse to show off characters that we otherwise weren't going to see no time soon, since they would be dying, and plus it would come off like a wacky Deadpool road trip. So that's an easy sell. 5. Donnie Blaze is dead. Now, I know a lot of people didn't even bother watching She-Hulk, and I can't blame you. You didn't really miss out on much. But one of the things I noticed during the movie is that Cassandra has a sling ring. Now, I could be just randomly speculating because it does look like on the ring it has 2 Infinity Stones wedged in there, but she went through the trouble of saying she got it from basically a 2-bit magician. Now, I'm thinking because if you watch She-Hulk, Donnie Blaze was a magician that had a sling ring, and he also was pretty much a fraud. So maybe it's headcanon, maybe I'm just completely speculating, but I think she got the sling ring from him, and if she got it from him, more than likely he's no longer alive. But then it wouldn't explain why there's affinity stones into the sides of them. So it could be wrong. It could be from someone else, or she could have got it in the void. There's so many questions, but I like to think, or maybe that's just me taking the pot shot at She-Hulk, that she got it from Donnie, and Donnie is no longer with us. 6. Deadpool will mention or joke about Lady Death. Now, I know as fans were all hoping when Thanos was announced that his thirsting of Lady Death would be the driving force for what he did. Obviously, we didn't get that. And in the Deadpool movies, he still hung up on the living. So I don't foresee them changing these things, but unless a variant of Thanos is brought in that has it right, we're probably never going to see a Lady Death. But I think they can at least do a nod to the fans by having him randomly joke about it, or do a scene where he steals Lady Death from the different variant Thanos. It felt like it was such a crucial thing, but I know probably because they didn't have rights to Deadpool at the time, he was still in the Fox universe, there was no reason to include that for Thanos. And thus they went with something that was more believable, and it seemed like it made it easier to digest for fans that didn't really read the comics and didn't need that background explained. So he was a man trying to save the universe by the worst method possible, and everyone ate it up. But these are just a few of my theories, and even that last one, that's not a prediction, that's just wishful thinking. But let me know what you think. What did this movie set you up to believe is coming next? Do you even think they're going to carry out and do more movies? There's plenty of rumors going around, and I'll probably do a video on that, but right now I'm still in the process of trying to see what is rumor and what is actually fact, because there's a lot of things going on and a lot of things being said. So we'll see, but till next time, stay tuned.